Okay, so elephant in the room. Hey, what is the elephant in the room? Um, I know. There's been lots of talk about Helen Zille, and people have been teasing Helen Zille. This is the thing. I made a policy decision quite a while ago to ignore Helen Zille. So I'm not even sure what Helen Zille said earlier last week, and then she was proven to be wrong. And that is the right thing to do. But everybody, it's the media. The media think that she is relevant, and they report on everything she does. And I suppose they have to, because if News 24 reports on Helen Zille's tweet, then another news service, ENCA or IOL or whatever, Africa's news, business, whatever, so then they feel they have to report as well. So it takes real balls to completely ignore Helen Zille, and that's what I did. So the Constitutional Court made a decision on Friday. Was it Friday? That the municipal elections, will go ahead in October. The IEC applied to the Constitutional Court, can you move the municipal elections to February? And then Helen Zille made some prediction beforehand, and I don't even know what it was. So there you go. I don't know. I don't know. Then maybe I'm becoming. I don't know. We move on. Have you noticed I never mentioned Julius Malema? Julius Malema says something, or I see a report on him, I completely ignore him. For me personally, I don't think he's relevant. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Julius Malema and Helen Zille, maybe they are relevant. I don't find they're relevant to me. I think they're a joke. Okay, I admit it. When the EFF first came around and they were disrupting Parliament, pay back the money, and they were heckling Zuma, I was an EFF supporter. At one time, I was even thinking of voting for the EFF. But things have changed since then. There's been a lot of recklessness, irresponsible actions, irresponsible comments, corruption, VBS Bank, Breitling watches, hotels, champagne, Moet, hypocrisy. And it's not about the fact that when I was a radio producer, I phoned Floyd Shivambu once or twice and he was rude to me on the phone. I can overlook that. It's fine. I once spoke to Ernie Els. He was a little bit abrupt with me. He said, "Come on, guys," because I had him on hold. He was holding on to talk to I think, John Burks. And Ernie will be with you. Come on, guys. That's what Ernie Els said to me. Kempton Park, eh? Can't take the Kempton Park out of a guy. Yeah. So, what are you looking all shocked? You looking all horrified? I got to put my phone on this airport mode and whatever. Yeah. You look all shocked and surprised. Medical parole for Jacob Zuma. What? Medical parole? What are you shocked? Hey? Did I predict it? I don't think I actually predicted it. What did I predict? I predicted that Jacob Zuma would never go back to jail. He would stay in hospital until the middle of October, when his normal parole was up. Well, lo and behold, yesterday, medical parole. No details at all. But in the press release and in the article, they gave a correctional services definition of what is required for medical parole. And the most important line was terminal illness. Okay, cliche, you know what I'm going to mention Shabir Sheikh in my next line, right? I hate to be predictable. Anyway, Shabir Sheikh still, apparently, in the last 7 or 8 years, Shabir Sheikh's golf, his handicap is actually improved. He's actually getting better. The medical parole has actually helped him, so that's a positive. So, the thing is with Jacob Zuma, I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what the law says regarding transparency and information. Are we as citizens, do we have the right? Does the media have the right? Does the public have the right? Is it a nice to know or a have to know? Or the right to know what is wrong with former President Jacob Zuma? What is his ailment? What is his medical condition? It can't be the blunt trauma or the physical trauma that they claimed he suffered at the end of December last year. So it can only be what? Cancer. It can only be. I'm thinking cancer. It can only be cancer. What? The prostate? What? The lungs? He's never been a smoker, but that doesn't mean anything. You can still get lung cancer. Maybe he's got pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer, but then you go a lot quicker with that one. Anyway, we don't know. You see people who have cancer and they look fine, but they're not fine. So who knows? Will we ever know? Will Jacob Zuma ever actually get to trial? Don't know. I don't know. Should we be angry? Should we be disappointed? We got to this point. We got to this point. If you're South African, we just okay. Another scandal, another shtup up the tochus with no lubrication. We treated with the mushroom treatment. The mushroom treatment kept in the dark, fed manure. But we're not stupid. Please, ANC government. Let me look me in the eye now. We're not stupid. We're not going to make a thing about this. We're not going to carry on and on. Just so you know, on the record, we are not stupid. We know that this is like Bobbermeisters. This is rubbish. Really? Medical parole. Till if I go now and I put on a balaclava or one of my Naomi Calvari, one of my mother's beanies, I take the beanie and turn it into a balaclava because my mother's made them a bit too big. You put the beanie over the head and you cut the eyes out. Go in and I rob a bank. I'll rob the bank. I get caught because I stayed in the bank too long. The alarm went off, but I stayed in the bank too long. They arrest me. I go to jail, 20 to 25. Medical parole, sure. With my dropped foot, high blood pressure, diabetes. Please, every second person in jail's got that. I wouldn't get medical parole. And if I joined the ANC just before sentencing, also won't help. Because I'll just be an ordinary card-carrying ANC member. I don't have time to get up the echelons. There you go. I don't know, you might notice a difference with today's episode, but maybe not. I wasn't sure whether I should point this out or not. How does this podcast work? How do I prepare for it? How do I... So I look at Twitter while I'm having breakfast. I look at my Twitter and I'm copying and pasting all the news stories. I'm putting it in my notes. And then I copy and paste it and I'll email it to myself. And then I come to my desktop and I take out a Word document and I copy and paste. And I don't really edit. Don't have time for editing. So I've got a list of all these news stories. And I put a line under each story to separate them. And at the top, I put some little anecdotes. I went shopping, saw a woman with a pram, saw somebody smoking, saw somebody naked. Like my little observations that I might want to talk about on the show. But it's not a script. It's just, I've said, as a Jew, Mazel Tov, I'll talk about that in a moment. So maybe I spend too much time doing that. Bernice gave me big lecture over the weekend, lots of drama over the weekend. Bernice says, listen, you must be finished with your show by 9 o'clock. You start work, finish with your show. That includes sending it. That includes publishing. Putting it on the podcast, putting it on the YouTube. So what did I do different today? Not much preparation. I didn't put much preparation. Literally half, even less preparation than I normally do. So I've got less stuff in front of me. Less preparation. Let's see if it makes a difference. Let's see if it makes a difference to anything. This whole performance, this whole Drosha lost is supposed to be 20 minutes. I go for 20 minutes. 22, 23 is a nice amount. If you go over 23, it's too much. You get bored. There's a thing on Apple Podcasts, it's analytics, which I haven't looked at yet. Tells me how long you listen to my podcast. So you click on my podcast and you listen for 5 seconds or 10 seconds. That's counted as a listen, but how long did you listen for? Don't know. So if you notice it, so I went shopping yesterday. So you might find, I don't know, I found this interesting. I don't know, I hope you found this interesting as well. So I'm in the Checkers, in this relatively new shopping centre called The Neighbourhood. They're in near Linksfield in Johannesburg. I've had a baby, just one child, so I can speak with a bit of experience. You know, when you've got a little newborn baby, 2 months old, 3 months old, and you've got to take it with you shopping, so what do? Here are your options. What are your options? You take so you got the carry cots at the back hooked in. You take the baby in the carry cot. Not a good idea. I did that a few times. It's actually very heavy. It's a strain. Don't recommend it. Don't do it. Because it's not really practical to put it on the trolley as well. You take the baby. Maybe with a bottle. Just the baby, nothing else. Oh, and a little bag with the nappies and God knows in case. You never know. So you just got the baby. You go to the shop, you go to the Checkers, and if it's a decent... Some of the trolleys have baby carriers. They do. You strap the baby in that one. In there. There you go. That's how you handle a baby while you're shopping. So... yesterday, I'm seeing this woman. She looked very young, and obviously her first child. Rookie mistake. Her first baby, obviously. Had to be. And she didn't even look awkward. She didn't even look apologetic. She was doing the weirdest thing. She was doing this straight. I've never seen this before. She's not a big woman. She's not a large woman. I mean, she didn't look like she was strong. Weak on plow, as Borat would say. Weak on plow, not strong on plow. She's pushing the trolley. She's pushing the trolley with the one hand, and the other hand she's pushing the pram, the stroller, the baby stroller with the baby in the stroller. She's pushing two things next to each other. Very awkward. What could she have done if the shop was busy and it was crowded and there were people like crazy? Luckily, the shop was relatively quiet because it was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. I felt awkward for her, but she didn't look awkward. She had this look on her face that this is normal, this is what I do. I would have had an apologetic look, no apologetic look. You know how when you go shopping, you go up and down the aisle and then you keep on meeting the same people because they go in the opposite direction and you keep on seeing them. So I'm crossing this woman about 4 times. And it didn't bother me as such because it was quiet. There wasn't a lot of people, but I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, what are you doing? You know what? I was nice. I didn't give her a, what the hell are you doing look. And I tried to make conversation. I looked at the baby. I said, look, Alexa, cute little baby. And she just ignores me. Not Alexa, the woman. And then after crossing the woman for the 4th time, I say to her, oh, how old is your baby? So you'd think the woman would give a smile. Oh, thank you. She said, 3 months. 3 months. Like this deadpan look. So I didn't, as a Jew, okay, I'm Jewish, you may not know this. As a Jew, you got to be careful. You don't just muzzle toff anybody. It's a thing I learned over the years. Don't just muzzle toff somebody. It's very presumptuous. It's kind of like pushing your cultural thing onto other people, and maybe it's a little bit, I don't think it's socially acceptable. It'll be a social faux pas to muzzle toff people who may not be Jewish. So that's the thing I've become aware of. So I look at her, thinking, for a half a second, I'm thinking, is she Jewish? Can I muzzle toff her? Not sure. She could be Lebanese. Could be Greek. Could be Italian. Could be from Afghanistan. You never know. So I said, oh, cute. I didn't say congratulations. I didn't even give her congratulations because we don't know each other. There's no relationship. She's a stranger. You don't congratulate. That's also not acceptable. So, So I just said, oh, cute. And thank you. Like no smile, nothing. You'd think a lot of people, they don't appreciate that they got a baby. They think, everyone has a baby. Not a big deal. I got a baby, huh? That's the impression I got from this lady. She should have been, oh, thank you. Instead it was, thank you, weird stranger. Maybe I become a weird, maybe, you know what? As you get older, you become a weird stranger. You've got to be careful about that. And I've stopped myself on many occasions. Do not become a weird stranger. People who just start talking to strangers and start talking to the cashier at the shop. Don't start getting all familiar. I don't like it when cashiers become familiar. But one day, about a year ago, the guy at Woolworths, the cashier, he started asking me what I'm doing on the weekend. So I said to him, that's very personal. And then he didn't get it. He thought, I was trying to be funny about it, but he didn't get the hint. Oh no, what are you doing? No, you're getting very personal now, I said to him. But I said it to him in a joking, funny way. So he wasn't upset with me. I can't remember how that conversation ended, but I didn't tell him what I was doing over the weekend. None of your business, to be honest with you. I got nothing planned. I don't know what I do on the weekends, to be honest. I actually don't know. I did have an arrangement, but I don't think of it as an arrangement. It's just a thing, part of my life. Went cycling for the first time since beginning of April, went cycling at the cradle of humankind. There in Mildersrift on the way to Krugersdorp kind of thing. It's very popular with the cyclists. Went cycling now. My friend Wayne, he had COVID, but bad COVID. He wasn't on a ventilator. He wasn't on oxygen, but he had horrible, horrible COVID. He was sick for 6 weeks. His wife is still not 100%. Wayne is still not 100%. He says that his chest. Anyway. So we took a chance. We went riding. So before the ride, I took a note. Which is the most frequently seen emergency services at the cradle? So the one company is called ER24. I've seen them at the cradle the most. So that's their Modena. That's their area of operation. So Google searched ER24, Mildersdrift, put the number in my phone, sent it to Wayne, ER24, emergency, ICE. ICE stands for in case of emergency. We decided we're just going to ride a very flat, we parked at the Lion Park and we're just going to ride to the caves and back. Very flat, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of inclination. It's a very flat ride. We just play it safe. So I take the lead and I'm looking over my right shoulder all the time, make sure Wayne's still there, make sure he's okay, I'm not, and then Wayne comes up to me and says to me, Damon, are you especially riding slow for me? So I said, no. I was going as fast as I could go. Really? So we got to the caves. People have coffee there, but no, we stopped for a minute or two, turned around road. Wayne, he's this post-COVID patient who I'm thinking, you've got to be careful, got to have the emergency services with us. He overtakes me. Embarrassing. So he overtakes me and look, he got back to the Lion Park maybe 2 minutes before, maybe 3. He probably got there 3 minutes before me or 2.5 minutes. So anyway, but embarrassing. I've got a long way to go. But going back to this Mazel Tov, have you noticed? I'm also on Facebook. I'm very wary of this kind of thing. People say, "Oh, my daughter just qualified as a doctor." I see the guy's surname is van Rensburg. I go, congratulations. I don't give a mazel tov. So I think that's the right thing to do. Don't give a mazel tov. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. When Jacob Zuma, he's got his medical parole, he comes out of jail. They're not going to all say mazel tov to Jacob. They won't do that. They'll hug him when he's back. Taliban. Now, just a bit of a follow-up on the Taliban. I don't know, maybe I'm not looking at the right news sources, but on Friday, I was talking about how the Taliban are having a meeting or get-together to form a new government. I don't see a follow-up. I don't know what happened with their government. Did they make a government or not? I don't know. Instead, the Taliban made an announcement. They've taken control of one of the remaining little sections of Afghanistan called the Panjshir province, just north of Kabul. That was the last holdout of anti-Taliban forces in the country. And there they are. Thousands of Taliban fighters overran 8 districts, and they don't give detail. Like when they say they've taken over, there were anti-Taliban forces. I mean, it's a bit of a sanitized story. I'm assuming people were killed. I mean, I don't think they won. I don't think they took over this territory. I mean, over a game of rock, paper, scissors, or I suppose in this case, a game of rock, sand, sand, rock, sand, rock, because it is Afghanistan, and so we carry on watching the story. Some guy from the UN humanitarian that organization, some important thing, had a meeting with there's not just one Taliban leader. There's some Taliban leader, plus there's a supreme Taliban leader who hasn't said much, apparently. So the one Taliban leader had a meeting with this guy from the UN yada yada. Humanitarian organization, and he made, I don't know, maybe he twisted did he twist his arm? Did he bend his pinky finger back? I don't know. Another game of rock, sand, rock. Just trying to get the Taliban to agree to allow humanitarian aid into the country, to allow people to leave the country, to uphold human rights. Make everything pleasant and nice. I don't know what the Taliban, who knows? I mean, the people in Afghanistan are still, living on spilkers. They're living on spilkers with this whole Taliban. Can you imagine? You're living in Afghanistan now and you're waiting for the Taliban what they're going to do next. It's like living with a psychiatric patient and they seem okay now, but they might snap. You keep all the sharp instruments away. They seem normal, but anyway, we'll see. We'll keep it posted. Oh, almost forgot. It's Erev Rosh Hashanah. Now, Erev Rosh Hashanah can mean 2 things. It's the day before Rosh Hashanah. Erev means evening. But we can call today, daylight, Erev Rosh Hashanah, the day before Rosh Hashanah. But can also be referred to as the night before Rosh Hashanah, or the night of Rosh Hashanah. Erev is night. So the Jewish New Year, that's Rosh Hashanah, starts tonight. So Tuesday and Wednesday is Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. So here's the situation. I'm not sure if there will be this podcast on Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know what the situation is. I'm not a big observer, but maybe it looks bad that if I do a show on Rosh Hashanah. You're not supposed to go to work, you're not supposed to drive, you're not supposed to do stuff. So there may not be a show on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to try and sneak one in. I'm going to try and wake up really early and try and sneak one in. So let's just see what happens. I'm hoping.